So, hello and welcome back to the third HUDMovies radio show. I'm Jake, the social secretary. Sat opposite me is Phil.
Hello.
The president, and we are joined this week by a special guest.
Hello.
Kezia, who has come to just talk about cats a bit later on, and will be joining in on some of our discussions.
It's going to be very passionate.
It's going to be...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do things by halves.
No, we know. So the first section we're going to do is movies we've recently watched. So, Phil, what movie have you recently watched?
So I watched Uncut Gems. It's on Netflix, just got added. It's starring Adam Sandler in a role where he plays a jeweller in New York. And he's trying to make bets in order to pay off his gambling debts that he's been like racking up because he has a gambling addiction. It's really intense. Like the way it's filmed it's basically him just running around trying to fix things, and you can feel yourself like getting like overly stressed as the film goes on.
I've got to say that's actually a really cool concept.
Yeah.
I mean, how many films do we really get that are much like that?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you don't really get many indie films anymore.
Yeah,
No.
they previously made, the directors, the Safdie brothers, they made Good Time, which had the same sort of vibe. You know, it was Robert Pattinson playing this, like, I can't remember what it was like, it was a few years ago, but he was like rushing around his brother, and that was like really fast paced, and it had like a synth 80s like style soundtrack, and this did too. It added a lot to it, but that also got really good reviews, just like this.
Yeah. It was like the surprise snub for the Oscars as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't get.
Yeah.
Did it even get any nominations?
I don't know. I know Adam Sandler said that if he didn't get an Oscar nomination, he would just make the worst movie he's ever made.
I love that.
But no, it didn't get any.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think he won a Best Actor award. Another movie show. I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure he won Best Actor for this.
Yeah. I mean, because isn't it like this A24 people that released it?
A24, the best at films.
I mean, because they did. Yeah. They've released like Lady Bird.
Yeah. One of my favourite horror films, Hereditary, was made by
Hereditary. Yeah. They seem to do these little indie films now. You know,
that are really high
quality, and you just don't get that anymore.
Yeah. I'd definitely say if you like intense, fast-paced stuff, like, you're not going to be bored while you're watching it. Like, I did fall asleep the first time I watched it. That's because I was absolutely shattered.
You're not doing a great job selling it, I have to say.
Yeah.
But the second time, I was like, I couldn't stop looking. Like, I couldn't move. Like, I didn't even look at my phone.
Sometimes you do need the presence of mind to actually be able to watch something.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's just too involved.
Yeah.
You've got to sleep.
Yeah.
Does it not like have a lot of swear words though?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't believe. I think it's 15.
Is it a 15?
Yeah, I think it's 15. I don't know if it's 15 or 18, but there was a bit of violence in it as well, and the swearing was like every 5 seconds.
So
I've got to say, that's something that would probably pull me out of it if it's every 5 seconds.
Yeah, so like warning.
We'll give
you warning. You know, if you want to watch it, be warned. There's a lot of swear words and violence.
Yeah, it's Adam Sandler just being angry the entire film, which if you're into that sort of thing, then go watch it, because you would like that.
Adam Sandler has a terrible, no good, very bad day.
basically that.
That Disney Channel movie, isn't it? Alexander has a terrible, no good, bad day, or something like that. It's called, isn't it?
I don't quite remember, but I know that there was something along those lines.
Yeah.
So, as someone who hasn't really seen any of his serious roles, that was the first time I've seen him. I've never watched Mayor Ritz Stories or Punch Drunk Love or anything like that. This is the first time, and he really.
I mean, there's always a thing where comedic actors, when they do a serious role, everyone you're more taken by surprise than when a serious actor.
Robin Williams,
Jim Carrey, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Truman Show as well. He was incredible.
Truman Show, and that was it, number 7 or something.
I'm not sure.
It's like a psychological horror.
The number 23.
The number 23.
I love that film.
Yeah, I was like, it had numbers in it somewhere.
Yeah. But I really love it when they do stuff like that, though, because, I mean, they obviously do it on purpose, because it does take you by surprise, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
And I just think that's brilliant.
Yeah. It's good when you see serious actors doing comedic roles too.
Yeah.
So like Robert De Niro
in Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah.
Or, analyse this and analyse that. He plays a mob hitman, and Billy Crystal's his therapist.
Oh.
And it is very, very funny.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I've
Yeah.
heard of that.
So, yeah, recommend Uncut Gems?
Absolutely.
Absolutely recommend it. Right. So I watched, and I really liked this, which is surprising because I'm not really a fan of American comedies, but Game Night. It's got Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams in it. And like a load of other like big supporting
got a
names.
good cast, hasn't it?
Yeah. Joel Edgerton.
Oh.
I think that's his name.
Hasn't he got the guy for Breaking Bad? Can't remember his name now. He plays Todd.
I've never watched Breaking Bad.
Oh, it's
Neither have I.
people say he looks like Matt Damon, but with a lot of weight.
Right, hang on. Let me Google because I probably got this guy's name wrong.
Yeah.
He's been in things like Super 8 before and...
Kyle Chandler. Oh, yeah, no.
Not Joel Edgerton. Who's Joel Edgerton?
He's been in stuff.
He's been in stuff.
Yeah, he's in
hasn't he?
Kinky Boots, the film.
Oh, right, not seen that either.
It's good.
It's good, but no, it's got big names and it's got Sharon Hogan, you know, the Irish comedian.
Oh, right, okay.
If you know who she is. Michael C. Hall.
The cast is absolutely loaded.
Yeah. Danny Huston from films like X-Men, Wolverine.
Yeah.
That really, really good movie.
He was in American Horror Story, like, very briefly as well. It's strange. I don't know why.
You know, Chelsea Peretti from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, right. Oh.
Jeffrey Wright, he cameos. But no, so it's got a really good cast.
Mm-hmm.
It's written and directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, who co-wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming, the Vacation reboot.
I really enjoyed that.
Horrible Bosses.
They are really
so
good
they are
films,
really
yeah.
good writers.
Yeah.
And John Francis Daley, if you've heard of it, Bones, the American TV crime series.
Yeah,
he
I've heard of
was Sweets, the psychologist.
Oh.
In Bones.
I've not seen it, but I've heard.
Oh,
it, so,
right, okay.
Yeah.
I love Bones.
Yeah. You love Bones.
I love Bones. Yeah, well, doing a science degree. But the TV series Bones as well.
I was about to say the series or the actual objects.
Yeah.
Both. But no, it's a comedy, but also it's not like laugh a minute comedy. It takes its time.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't a joke that's not paid off.
You want that, don't you?
You do,
really?
yeah, but you know, like some American comedies just go for the obscene, you know, American Pie or...
Yeah, like they think the more over the top they are, instantly that's what makes it funny when it's not.
No, but I think really they had some Saturday Night Live, obviously, like cast members.
Oh, right.
In it. What's he called?
You usually see a lot of the comedians of today. They've always been on like Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Especially American
Lamorne
ones.
Morris, he's famous for his Denzel Washington impressions on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, right.
And that's like a running joke in the film that they've got one of the characters thinks she's slept with Denzel Washington, but it turns out it's just somebody that looks very much like Denzel Washington.
Oh, wow.
And she
That's
never
good.
gave him the chance to say that he isn't Denzel Washington. But then that gives him the chance to do a Denzel impression.
I love that.
But you know,
That's
Rachel
good, yeah.
McAdams, I know she sort of flits back and forth between comedy and drama, doesn't she?
She was in a really good film I watched called About Time.
Oh, I love her in About Time. I feel like
great.
as an actress, she does have a lot of range.
Yeah.
And
Certainly.
honestly, I watched About Time for years before I realised that she was also Regina from Mean Girls. I had no clue.
She
I
was
had
in
no
Mean
clue
Girls.
because it's so different, and she has that ability to really take on a completely different character.
Yeah, and then she was in the
That
Robert
sort of
Downey Jr.
actress.
Sherlock Holmes films.
Oh,
she was
yeah,
she was Irene
gosh,
Adler. Doctor Strange. She's just been in all sorts. Spotlight as well.
Oh, that's what a film that is.
You know, I think that got her an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, that was total good.
Total good film, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's very good.
So definitely as well, if you like that sort of thing, and obviously the whole thing is it's like one big game night. So if you like your board games or
I do like.
it's like a murder mystery. I don't want to give too much away of the plot.
I keep going. I keep meaning to watch it, but I just never.
Yeah,
get
you
there.
you should. I put it on as like a background film, and then was like, oh, this is actually quite good, and ended up watching it rather than doing my work.
Fair enough.
So
that happens to me a lot. As
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
With
same.
TV shows more though.
yeah,
Yeah, because with a TV show, there's the danger, because you think, oh, I'll just watch one episode while I'm eating, and then I'll get back to my work, and then before you know it,
finish
it's
the
3 in the
series.
morning. You've watched like 5 seasons.
Yeah.
When
it's
I was-
over.
When I was back in college, I always used to put off my college work and watch The Office at college instead.
Which one? The
US one.
The US
Absolutely,
one.
yeah. That is. I don't like American comedies, but that is.
You see,
top of the range,
like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or The Good Place as well.
That's great. I love The Good Place.
The Good Place, yeah.
With me, it's always the Clone Wars, and the trouble is it's very dangerous because the episodes are only 20 minutes long.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't require, like, loads of focus.
Exactly.
So I think, I'll just put one on while I'm eating my tea. Next thing you know, I've finished the whole thing.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, again.
Right. So I would recommend Game Night as well. Definitely, it's an easy watch. It's not. Uncut Gems sounds like a.
Yeah, you need to focus.
You need to focus on it.
But
Game Night. I mean, there's bits where if you focus, in a bit more, you get more of a payoff for the jokes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those where you could just have on in the background and still follow along and be like, oh yeah, that's quite funny.
Just classic comedy.
Just classic. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, Kezia, what film have you recently watched?
Well, I noticed that neither of you have seen Little Women.
Which is disgraceful.
It is disgraceful. It's an amazing film.
I mean, I watch pretty much anything with Meryl Streep in it. So
have you seen Big Little Lies?
No.
Oh, she's amazing in that.
I keep meaning to watch that. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I was so surprised by Little Women. I knew that there was going to be good acting. I knew that the cinematography was going to be amazing, and it was. But I think the thing is, if you don't actually know the story of Little Women, going from the trailers and things, you can be a little bit deceived. Like, you think it's just about these girls growing up, when really it goes so much deeper than that. And I went to see it with my mum, who generally doesn't cry too much at films. We were both crying because it was so powerful, and the combination of the cinematography and the actual delivery of the lines and the music and just how the entire story was structured. You flip back a lot between the present and flashbacks. And it was so powerful.
Definitely gonna have to watch it.
I do highly recommend it, but maybe bring some tissues with you.
I get very emotional at films, so I need to.
It's because it seems so much like a bit of a slice of life at first.
Yeah.
It fools you a bit for when the bits that upset you do actually come, because you can get a little stuck in thinking it's about these young girls growing up. And it is, but growing up isn't all suns and rainbows.
I'm guessing it's like a coming of age / drama.
It is. It very much is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, 3 recommendations.
Yes.
3 very different recommendations as well.
Yeah, they're all very different.
One for everyone. So, the next section is going to be our unpopular movie opinions. So, I'm going to go first, and this is one that I feel really, really strongly on.
Yeah,
Kezia agrees with me.
I do.
In the Star Wars sequel trilogy, Kylo Ren did not deserve a redemption arc.
He didn't.
He didn't. So basically...
Yeah, I need to know about this, because I don't.
Phil's not watched the sequel trilogy. Yeah. Basically, he's just he's like a Darth Vader fanatic. Right. J.J. Abrams said when they made The Force Awakens that he was that him and the First Order were essentially like neo-Nazis.
Yeah, and that comes through very, very strongly just from looking at it.
Yeah,
you don't even really need to have watched the film. You see a screenshot and you go, That looks a little bit Nazi-ish.
Why do they need to have Nazis in Star Wars?
Well, the original one was an allegory for the Nazi party as well.
Okay.
Because Star Wars is so much about what is good and what is bad.
I guess it's quite political, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
It's always been political. That's why I don't get these dude bros. I'm going to call them.
I know what you mean.
Saying stop making Star Wars political. Star Wars has always been political.
It has been.
Nearly everything is political. Most of our daily lives.
Nothing exists in a vacuum.
Yeah.
It's the thing.
Yeah. So basically, obviously, he. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen The Force, if you're like Phil and you're one of the only 3 people on the planet that hasn't seen The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren kills Han Solo, who's his father.
Yeah, I've seen about that.
And he's also a very beloved character.
Yeah. I mean, Harrison Ford wanted him killed off, but
but Harrison Ford hated Star Wars.
Harrison Ford hated Star Wars, but that's iconic of him.
Yeah.
We love Harrison Ford.
We do.
But so he kills his father in the Force Awakens. In the flashback, he destroys the Jedi Temple. That Luke set back up and killed all the other students with the Knights of Ren. He's part of Starkiller Base, so he's on Starkiller Base when it blows up the New Republic the star system. And then, because he's a somewhat attractive person, he gets a redemption arc. In the new comics, have you heard about this, Kezia?
I have. Is this he didn't actually blow up the temple?
Yeah, the new comics were like, he didn't actually blow up the temple, he didn't actually kill anybody.
Whether he did or didn't actually blow up the Jedi Temple, I think is completely irrelevant in regards to his redemption, because we have still seen him be an awful person.
We have. Yeah. And also, it just seems that they're like, we didn't do enough to redeem him. Quick, let's retcon it and be like, he didn't destroy the temple.
I mean, the thing is that when you mentioned this to me, I knew that I had to talk about this. And this is coming from someone who does actually really like, not so much Kylo Ren's character, but what his character could have been.
Yeah.
The way that Star Wars works in every trilogy is that you have two different types of villains. You have the big bad evil villains like Palpatine, who are pure evil. There's no chance of redemption because they choose to do evil of their own volition.
Yeah.
And then you have the secondary villains who are more forced into it or like groomed into this kind of position. And they only choose to do evil things because the big bad, like Palpatine, has something over them.
Yeah.
And so, like how Darth Vader's redemption works, it works because the first time he's offered redemption, Palpatine's still going strong. He still has that power over him, so he can't. But then, once Palpatine's out of the way, he can make a decision that is actually his.
Yeah.
And we had quite a similar thing go on with Kylo Ren in The Last Jedi. And so, obviously, spoilers for anyone who's not seen that. Where
we'll just drop a blanket spoiler alert on this if you've not seen any of the sequel trilogy.
I'm going to be talking about every Star Wars film ever, basically.
Even the holiday special. No, we're joking.
But in The Last Jedi, there's this really amazing scene where Kylo Ren kills Snoke, and Snoke had been this trilogy's main evil villain.
Yeah, the Palpatine surrogate, essentially.
And at this point, Snoke is dead, and Rey offers Kylo Ren redemption. And this is his time to make a decision that's his instead of doing what other people want for him. And he chooses to stay with the First Order. He does choose the dark side.
Yeah.
And that was his own choice.
It was.
And what they should have done was they should have then made him the main villain of the story.
Yeah.
And maybe introduced someone else. But instead, I feel like they did all of this retconning, and I do feel like the Reylo community had an effect on this because they're very loud.
Definitely, too loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what it was they saw that a very loud, I'm not even sure if it's a minority or majority at this point, but a very loud portion of the fans wanted Rey and Kylo to be together. They wanted Kylo to be redeemed. And so they had to sort of go back on themselves and put Kylo in a situation where actually that wasn't his own decision
I would
to redeem him.
I would say that is because of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
The Force Awakens set him up as this slightly crazy Han and Leia's kid, but he went crazy, and killed the Jedi.
Like, if you'd asked me after Force Awakens if I thought Kylo Ren deserved redemption or if he could have it, I probably would have said yes. Because we only see that one aspect of him. There's still time for him to grow. And given how all of the other trilogies have been set up, it would make sense because it's the same sort of situation with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
But after The Last Jedi, there was no way that he could really be redeemed because he made that choice and that was his own choice. There was no one forcing his hand there.
No, definitely
not.
And
I think how The Rise of Skywalker seemed to be really rushing to try and make him good again. I feel like it was just a bit of a bad move.
If you believe the Reddit leaks, then J.J. Abrams never wanted Kylo redeemed.
No, I believe that, honestly.
Or he didn't want Reylo to be a thing either.
No,
you know, we stand J.J. Abrams.
We do.
We do, you know. But just as well, you know, but it does just seem that there are just... the Reylo community or yeah, I'm just going to say it. They seem to be excusing a lot of Kylo's actions.
They are.
I saw a tweet the other day that said Han and Leia were abusive to Kylo in his childhood. I was like,
absolutely
what the actual...
insane.
You can't say that.
You're not allowed to say that.
I can't swear on air, you know, but like...
Yeah,
that was my,
I had the same response.
You know,
it was crazy.
When it's literally like, you know, it's canon, if we can say that word. You know, it's proven that Han only left after Kylo went to the dark side, and Leia was busy setting up the Republic.
She was.
You know, I mean,
like, I'm not going to say that they must have been the perfect parents, because I personally don't think there's such thing.
No, but they were. But they weren't.
No, they weren't abusive.
To what? God, no.
And I just feel like, you know, people make out that Kylo Ren is solely a victim, and I'm not saying that there's no element of him that isn't a victim. I do believe that, you know, Snoke has been in his head since pretty much birth.
Yeah, but I think like you said, the minute he decided not to join Rey at the end of The Last Jedi...
That was his own choice.
That was his... And they should have just...
They should have run with that.
Yeah.
Because I would have actually really liked to see this supreme leader, Kylo Ren.
Yeah, why does every villain need a redemption?
They don't.
Is it
not enough to just see a villain absolutely crazy? This is why...
villain.
This is why I love Palpatine, you see. I genuinely love Palpatine, because he's just bonkers, shoots people with lightning, manipulates war in the prequels, and he's just generally... Not
a nice guy.
Yeah.
Not a nice guy, but he has fun being a villain.
No, I love villains of all varieties, whether they get redeemed or not, because I think it's such an interesting thing to explore. But
I do, but I think
I feel with Kylo Ren...
There's just been a trend lately that all villains need a sympathetic backstory, or...
It's a bit like Joker.
You know, well...
It does feel
I
very
ranted about
much
Joker last
like...
week.
About that.
It reminds me of the whole sort of cancel culture kind of thing, and that if the media that you're consuming isn't somehow morally pure, then that makes you a bad person.
Yeah.
And I think it honestly comes from that, because I've noticed it a lot in like more recent years, that seems to be how everything's going, and we do have this idea of like, oh, if whatever you're watching isn't perfect, then that somehow reflects on you. And I think that's why we have such a need to redeem villains that don't need it. Let them be evil. It's interesting to watch.
Let them be bad people.
You know,
not everyone is a good person.
You know.
Not everyone's morally grey. There are some people that are just dreadful.
They're just and also, I mean, we could rant about Reylo for another hour and a half at least, but very quickly I know we're saying about cancel culture and purity and all of that lot, but genuinely it is not a healthy relationship.
It's very disturbing. I mean, after that scene in The Force Awakens where Rey is sort of like strapped to that table and Kylo is
invading her mind
and entering her mind without consent, I will say. And obviously she's resisting. And I just remember he said that one line like, don't you know that I can take whatever I want?
That is just...
And we can explore this relationship dynamic while acknowledging that it's messed up. But these people that believe that Rey and Kylo should be a genuine, like, loving, healthy relationship, I feel like we have definitely watched different films.
We have. And also, why should a female character redeem a male character?
Exactly.
You know, why should her entire story arc revolve around redeeming this, as Kezia and I think, irredeemable
I will also bring up that there's quite a bit of an age difference. I don't know exactly, but I'm quite sure that at the beginning of The Force Awakens, Kylo is 35?
I know
He's somewhere in that region, and I'm pretty sure Rey is around like 19.
I know that Adam Driver's a decade older than Daisy Ridley is.
Yeah, but
obviously we don't know whether that translates over to characters.
And I mean, obviously we can say, you know, like all consenting adults, but is everyone consenting?
Yeah, there's
Because
just...
given that scene in The Force Awakens,
Yeah.
the way that the trilogy has gone with seeming to set this up time and time again has been rather sickening, I will say.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think that's us.
Yeah,
because
let Kylo Ren be evil.
yeah, just
leave
let,
Rey out of it.
Yeah, let Rey be in a healthy relationship with Finn
Yes.
or Poe or both. Polyamory rights. So I think Phil wants to do his unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he's will like this at all.
No, I don't think we will.
So Phil, what's your unpopular opinion?
So I went to watch Black Panther when it came out of the cinema. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was a decent film, very well made, had a good soundtrack. It did a lot for like the representation, but I don't think it deserved an Oscar Best Picture nomination. I just feel like
Might I ask why?
Yeah, why?
Because I feel like even Marvel films of that year were better than that, and I also feel like it was very basic in its nature. Like there wasn't any big moments in it. It was just a normal superhero film that would have been released any other year. I feel like films like Into the Spider-Verse, Infinity War were much better, and I don't see it on the same level as films like Bohemian Rhapsody, Roma, Black Klansman.
I mean, I will say now, I think I've disagreed with pretty much everything that you've just
this
said.
is what it's all about.
Yeah, this
I
is
mean,
what's
that is
popular.
what this is about. It's about talking this stuff out. But I remember when I went to go and see Black Panther, I was completely blown away by it. It felt really different to everything else. And it was such a colourful film. It was so beautiful. And the actual story itself, I mean, I definitely disagree with you saying that you think it's like any other superhero film. I thought that there was something so different and so special about it. Because it's not the sort of superhero and the sort of culture that generally we see in Hollywood a lot.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And I thought it brought something so interesting to it.
I appreciate that. That's a good point. But I also feel like we're looking at the quality of the film, not rather than like the impact it's had. I know you can consider that a factor.
I mean, not going off the impact that it's had, but its quality as a film. I will happily say that most Marvel films in the more recent years, yeah, sure, I've enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't watch them again. Black Panther is one that I could probably watch over and over again.
Yeah,
See,
I think my one complaint about Black Panther would be a couple of times the CGI didn't quite hold up.
Yeah.
The CGI rhino just it did just look a bit shoddy.
Don't get me wrong.
I go with you there.
The technical nominations, like best sound editing, mixing, and it won that as well. Costume, production design, well deserved. Like the costumes, production, amazing, brilliant.
The costumes were glorious.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But do I think it's better than Infinity War? Do I think that it's better than Into the Spider-Verse? No, I don't. I don't think it's better.
I don't know about Spider-Verse, but
Spider-Verse is great.
Spider-Verse?
Spider-Verse.
It's definitely not Spider-Verse.
I do think it's better than Infinity War, I've got
Fair
to say. I feel like Infinity War was just too much.
I think it's a better film.
Yeah.
You see, this is where we have to distinguish between film and movie.
Okay.
For me.
Interesting.
Films,
that's an interesting point.
Films are, you're like your Scorsese, your Tarantino, your...
Like, Black Panther can hold up on its own.
Black Panther is a film.
Again,
Infinity War is a movie.
I can't really compare Black Panther to like a Tarantino, Scorsese.
Yeah, no,
film.
but that's just, that. I think that was just like the sort of, a film is your Oscar types. Or you...
Was it on the same level as Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Roma? Was it that sort of film?
I mean, I enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't think it deserved a Best Picture nomination either. That might be one in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to go on about that.
I'm interested to hear.
I thought liked it. But again, it was just that it was different, like Kezia said, than other... films that have come before it in the MCU. It was definitely
was Thor Ragnarok not different in the fact that it was more of a comedy than
But I felt that didn't really work particularly well.
No, some of the, again, maybe we'll bring you back on when
maybe this can be my next unpopular opinion.
No, because I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. The amount of comedy in Thor Ragnarok meant that some of the more heavy story beats fell flat.
Yeah, like I did not feel tense once.
No, let's save that for another one.
We'll save that for next time.
But it was different.
But it was.
It was different, but different doesn't necessarily mean that it works.
I think
I'm all for a bit of comedy, but I just feel
this is my point.
The ratio was wrong.
This is my point. I appreciate it's different, but there's different films every year, everywhere.
Yeah.
I just think that if you took out the sort of superhero aspect of Black Panther, it would still work
It would.
It
still holds up on its own outside of the series.
Winter Soldier would work like that.
But take T'Challa's superpowers, the herb and the suit away from him, give him a 3-piece suit and a pistol, it would still work, as a thriller film like that.
Yeah.
Like
whereas other ones like Infinity War or...
It relies so much on what's come before it that it's not so much that Infinity War was good on its own. You couldn't just watch Infinity War.
No, you did have to at least watch a few of the others.
You have to watch quite a lot of the others to fully understand what's going on, and I feel it relies on all of that too much.
But Black Panther could definitely be enjoyed as a standalone.
Definitely, yeah.
On its own, without reference to any of the others. I mean, if you
100%.
If you wanted to watch Civil War beforehand, obviously where T'Challa's introduced.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry. If you wanted to watch, Civil War where he's introduced, by all means do that. But
it's not necessary.
It's not necessary, because he's not really in
a
Civil War that much.
And what does happen to him in Civil War... They discuss at the very start of that film in a way that you didn't have to have seen Civil War.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because the information that you do need is given to you then and there.
Yeah, it is, for definite.
I do prefer films with franchises doing that, because a lot of people who get introduced to franchises usually watch a film that's not at the start. And I think
this is my trouble with the MCU now.
Yeah.
Like, I understand wanting to have this amazing big thing.
Yeah.
I respect what they're trying to do, but... it's the amount that all of the films rely on each other now. It makes it so hard to go and watch a new MCU film, because if you haven't seen the one that came just before it, then you don't understand this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's made me fall out of love of it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we definitely could go on and on and on
we could.
About that, but we'd get told off, I think. So now we have the reason we've invited Kezia on to this radio show. So Kezia, what do you think about cats?
Are there words? I will start all this by saying I'm a huge fan of the musical Cats. Had the video of the 1998 stage production. I think I've probably watched that every day for about 14 years. I love it. I love it to bits. So when I heard that they were making a movie, I got very excited. Then I saw the trailer and I very quickly got unexcited again. There's just so much going on. I mean, the main thing that everyone mostly talks about is the CGI, and that there were just so many problems with it, like human hands and feet poking through and fur doing strange things. And like, I understand why they wanted the CGI there, but I feel like it covered up, quite literally, so much of the movement, and there was a lot of choreography. Cats, I mean, if you see the musical Cats, there's really no like regular spoken bits. It's all song, it's all dance.
All right.
And also, they were working until an hour, 2 hours before the premiere on the CGI.
Oh my goodness.
And if someone is being pushed to work to a deadline like that, the quality is going to go down.
Yeah, it's either going to be amazing or appalling.
Exactly, and it was so bad that they had to re-release it in cinemas. They had to they had to do like an updated version to re-release in cinemas, and no film has ever had to do that, to the best of my knowledge.
That's ridiculous.
And the whole reason that they were pushing it so close was because they wanted the release date to be the same day as Star Wars. And do you want to know why?
Why?
because they wanted to get the young female audience.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
I mean,
Mighty.
I don't know who these people are and what generation they're living in, thinking that women don't like Star Wars. I mean, especially this trilogy where the main character is a woman.
They
Yeah.
try to compete against arguably the biggest
I
franchise of
know.
all time.
I
Like,
know.
seriously.
And it's
Or
very
definitely the most
upsetting.
iconic
Yeah,
franchise
yeah.
of all time.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's bad enough.
Yeah.
But also, like, the aesthetics. For anyone who's seen any stage production, but for the most part, I will be talking about the 98 recording because it's the most accessible. Please watch it. You should see how Cats should be done.
Yeah.
So much of the charm of Cats does come from its aesthetic. Even if you've never seen Cats, if you see a screenshot or a picture from the 98 production, you will look at it and go, yes, that's Cats. For those of you who don't know, they're in like these full body leotard suit things that have been painted to sort of look like cat fur. And a lot of them have almost like leg warmers on their hands to be like the paws. And the main thing is they have these very big, fluffy wigs that create. I mean, it sound. I can't describe them
Yeah.
properly,
It's understandable.
but that create this really cat-like
Yeah.
silhouette because cats do have a lot of fluff on their faces.
Just go and Google what they look like.
Yeah. If you just Google Cats 1998, you'll see what I mean. And it's iconic and it's absolutely beautiful. And also, tiny little thing that the film could have done: cat noses, cat mouths. In the stage productions, I mean, we don't have anyone who has actually been in Cats to ask, but as someone who was Magical Mr. Mistopheles for a couple of Halloweens, I can tell you now that, you know, just doing the nose and the mouth, it takes a minute max.
Yeah.
And then you can get jazzy and add whatever else on the end. And the casting, I mean, I'm sure everyone's said it before, but if you have big names, they bring in their reputations, and
I don't
doesn't
understand.
always gel. I mean,
why did they sign on to that? Like,
I
what?
don't know.
What?
I mean,
What blackmail did the
Yeah.
producers
Yeah.
have on
I mean,
Judi
in
Dench?
some cases, it does work. Like with Judi Dench and Serene McKellen, they work really well. But I'm sorry, Jason Derulo for the Rum Tum Tugger. I'm just uncomfortable.
Isn't James Corden banning it? Like,
Oh,
very bad.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think he's seen it
I
yet. Can
can
you say that
imagine.
he refuses to see it? James Corden.
I wouldn't blame him.
I
to be
wouldn't
honest.
blame him either.
And yeah, I mean, I could probably go on for absolutely hours. Beautiful Ghosts, great song on its own. It's really not a Cats song. Incorrect structure. Choreography, I feel, is very much not Cats. And yeah,
Yeah.
I've gotten out my main points as quickly as possible.
Nothing worse when there's an adaptation that.
No,
you want to-
it's very
you want.
upsetting because Cats is very near to my heart.
Have you heard that they're doing Starlight Express, which is just cats but with a train? That's just very weird.
I'm worried.
I'm worried as well. Maybe they're not going to now after the flop
Yeah.
of Cats.
Yeah, don't watch the 2019 Cats.
What's the-
Find the 1998 version.
Yeah,
you
it's got
you
to be
will
not a
thank
film,
me.
It's got Elaine
Recommendation.
Page
It
in it,
does.
and she is amazing.
All of them are amazing.
All of them are amazing,
They
but
are.
Elaine Page is the one that like still sticks with me.
Yes, yeah.
Right, so we're gonna talk as we say movie news. We're gonna very quickly talk about the BAFTAs because they were obviously this weekend. And 1917 won 7 BAFTAs, won the most BAFTAs of any films.
Still haven't seen it yet.
It
Neither have I.
I love it. Okay, if
I
I
need
have
to
to
watch it.
if
I
I'm
have heard very good things
if I
about
have
it
to
from
wa-
people who
yeah.
have seen it.
If I'm watching
so
Little Women, you're watching 1917.
Sure,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take that, yeah.
Okay, so 1917 it won Best Film, Outstanding British Film. I think that was a bit of a given.
Yeah.
Best Director, cinematography, production design, sound and special visual effects. I was very surprised it won special visual effects because I think of the nominees in special visual effects, it used special effects the least. You know,
Yeah.
over Endgame or
Surprisingly, it's over Endgame because that was like
Rise of
the budget for that
Skywalker.
film was ridiculous.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the CGI in that was, amazing, really.
It was.
Parasite won Best Film not in the English language.
Yeah, it's a weird, like a name for an award, that isn't it? Why not just say international film?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I suppose if they did that, then they might start being racist and just go for like,
An American
another, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. And Parasite won original screenplay.
Not surprised there.
Jojo Rabbit won adapted screenplay.
Love that film.
Renée Zellweger won leading actress for Judy.
I've not
She's
seen
playing
it.
Judy Garland.
I've not seen that yet.
Joaquin Phoenix won leading actor.
You're not happy about that.
I'm not happy about that. You heard me say about that last
I
week.
did.
Laura Dern won supporting actress, her first BAFTA.
You know what? Laura
Yeah.
Dern is so underrated.
Yeah. And Brad
Yeah.
Pitt won supporting actor.
Yeah.
So both of them have done the clean sweep before the Oscars now.
Wow.
And did we all hear Brad Pitt's speech?
I
No.
didn't
God,
actually.
He
did
wasn't
you?
there. He wasn't there to accept the award, but Margot Robbie was. And
right.
basically, the opening line was, "So Britain, I've heard you're recently single and same." Something like that. And then
I love that.
yeah. And then Joker won original score and casting. Little Women won costume design.
I can understand casting because there was a lot of good casting choices.
Yeah,
there.
I didn't think that was an award. To be fair.
No,
Yeah.
I
Robert De
didn't.
Niro.
Cast. Yeah.
I think they give it to like the casting directors, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, it does make sense for that to be a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't know when the Oscars is. I think it's coming up soon.
It's it's very soon.
It's
I think
very
in,
soon.
like a week or two.
A week or two away. So
Yeah.
we'll be discussing the Oscar nominations, and we'll be
I may
seeing.
even watch it. I don't know yet.
And we'll be seeing if we were right with our predictions.
Yeah, we did our predictions.
We did our predictions on our first show.
Yeah,
we're
we'll have
probably
to-
not going to be right.
We'll
but
have to bring it up and then
we'll have to bring it up
read
again.
through each one.
Read through
Yeah.
each one. And then just very quickly, upcoming movies that we're excited for, Phil.
Sonic the Hedgehog, because maybe not excited but intrigued. To see
Intrigued.
if it's going to be
Coming out on
terrible or not.
Valentine's Day.
That's
Yeah.
a perfect date movie,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean,
Take your loved ones
what
out.
else would you go and see? And then No Time to Die for me, the upcoming Bond movie.
Rami Malek.
New trailer released for the Super Bowl.
I saw that. Oh wow!
I misread it and thought it was
Yes.
Superb Owl. Just goes to show how much I follow,
Yeah.
sport.
Oh, Emma is coming out as well,
Emma,
based
yes.
on the novel, which looks quite fun.
Yeah, Bill Nighy and
Yep.
Bill Nighy. Oh.
Anna Taylor-Joy, is she called?
She's
couldn't tell you.
she's a good up and coming actress.
She was in Split.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. I
Tanya-
recognised her, but it's her name. It always escapes me.
Oh, it's got Tanya Reynolds in it. She's out of Sex Education. She
Oh.
plays the I think it's Lily.
Lily. Oh
Just
wow.
looking now, yeah. Gemma Whelan from Game of Thrones.
It's got a good cast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
So, yeah. So all we've got to say now is thank you very much for listening this week.
Thank you.
And it's goodbye from Kezia.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Phil.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.